It's Oscar night here on OpenLine. Don't want to waste any time because time is fleeting on us tonight to get into the Best Picture category with our guest tonight, Jason Shawhan. Jason, a lot in the Best Picture category we've already talked about. We've talked about Belfast. We've talked about Coda. We've talked about King Richard and the Power of the Dog. But there's some on here that we have not gotten to yet, and I want to get your take on those. For one, you see Adam McKay's name on here, and you might associate his name with comedies, but Don't Look Up is a little more nuanced than that, right?
I specifically avoided this film because when it first was being screened for critics, there was a bit of a kerfuffle with this one, where like critics who didn't necessarily enjoy the film but who appreciated what it was saying politically, but was just like, you know, it's like I'm on the same side as this film, but it's not, but the film doesn't work. Where the filmmakers like started calling them out on Twitter and like basically saying, if you don't like this film, you like climate change, which is like incredibly irresponsible. So I was just like, you know what? Like when the discourse is that toxic before I get a chance to see something, sometimes I will just like, you know what? I'll let that one go. And with this one, I let it go.
Sure, absolutely. I saw it. I will say I thought it probably ran about 45 minutes too long. It felt a little long on my end. I'm not qualified to critique films, so I won't delve into that. But that's definitely an interesting inside baseball that a lot of our viewers probably, once again, don't know that there is quite a campaign when it comes to a lot of these award shows. I will circle back to Drive My Car because we've at least mentioned it before. Dune's an interesting one because that is kind of a cult sci-fi classic. I haven't seen this one yet, but is it a true remake or is it kind of a new adaptation of Dune?
Well, it's a new adaptation of the book, and it's just part one of the book, and thankfully they're making part two. But here's the thing about Dune, and it's good. It's very good. It was quite enjoyable. I ended up seeing it twice myself. I went down to the Aquarium IMAX in Chattanooga because they're the only ones with the dual laser system. That was the way to see it. But it's imaginative. The performances are great. I love the David Lynch version from 1984, but they're very different films. The thing about this one is that it feels like they sort of sanded off some of the rougher edges to like try and get people to come see it. And the good thing is that starting with part two, they have to put the weird back in because the Dune books are weird. There's quite a few of them, and I've read them all. And, you know, I love it. It's great. And they're just, you could do this with the first thing to sort of get people in to sort of like not get into like, oh, what does the spice actually do? And all this stuff. But like, you're going to have to start getting weird with it. And it's a journey that I want to take. I want them to continue being successful. I want them to make more of the series till when it starts getting really weird, you know, like 10,000 years down the road. And, you know, the Dune books.
We got 1 minute left, Jason, so I don't want to miss out. West Side Story, another really, I would, you know, going into it, hard one to remake. Did Spielberg pull it off?
I think it's an interesting film. I think it's the first Steven Spielberg film that feels like it has sort of lost faith in humanity, and that's saying something. Some great performances, not so much Ansel Elgort. That's problematic on a whole other thing. But the dancing is amazing. You know, the songs are classics, and rightfully so. But it's a really interesting take on original material. Nightmare Alley is the same way. Like, you know, working from the 1947 Tyrone Power film, you know, it's telling the same story in a different way. And, you know, I enjoyed it. I saw it twice, once in color and once in black and white. So you can't go wrong with that.
And then quickly, Licorice Pizza, worth watching?
Licorice Pizza. Yeah, I mean, it's like it does the 70s LA vibe really nicely. It's fun. It kind of drops the ball in the last 10 seconds, which is kind of impressive. But like Alana Haim, going to be a superstar. And then Drive My Car, love it, love it, love it. It's all about grieving and evolving. And I can't recommend it highly enough.
We're going to have to leave it there. Thanks so much, Jason. We're back in a minute.
No problem.